Is Bitcoin Ben in the house for his much anticipated debate? Yes! Bitcoin Ben and Bix Weir. And then we'll take a break.
Sorry, guys. I had to go use the restroom. Beer is a waste of money. It goes right through you. But yet you get a buzz, so it's okay.
Test, 1, 2. Test with me, ready? Sha-la-la-la-la-la, go.
Fuck that. Yeah. I can barely talk, and he wants me to sing. All right, this is going to be a great friggin' debate. I'm sorry, Bix, but you're going to lose, brother. Sorry.
Being in second place is not something to be ashamed of in your world.
Yeah, hey. But I'll always be number one.
In my book.
I love you.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the crash. Is it something that could be massaged over? Well, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Last night we were going to sit there and go, all right, here's how we're going to do this debate. You get 3 minutes, I get 6 minutes, you get 8 minutes. No. We ended up agreeing and crying and hugging together last night. But we still have to have this debate, and we'll probably get into questions because it's not something that either of us know for sure can happen. But it is an important discussion to have because we're inching towards decision time for humanity. And I think it's really important that we're as knowledgeable about our choices as possible. And the worst thing I can imagine is kicking the can. And so let's start the debate on whether or not there will be a crash. Do you want to go first or do you want me to? Because whoever goes first, the other person gets the counter, and then we'll do it evenly.
That's fine. I'll actually go first.
Good.
So he can go, you're wrong, in the story. We're in the crash right now. This idea of there's going to be one day that time freezes, and all of a sudden, everything goes to hell in a handbasket. That happens every day, doesn't it? Every day is an emergency. We especially see that now from the Federal Reserve. Every night's an emergency. Every morning is an emergency. We have to hurry up and we have to send enough money to these banks so they don't collapse. The reason that I disagree with my good-looking friend Bix Weir is that there's never been a fiat currency that collapsed. They printed the fuck out of it. It will die, but it will not collapse. It will lose value over time. Now, what they're doing is the system that you and I got pissed about, the rant that I did, is the system they have has lots of little faucets everywhere. The goal of the faucets is to keep the inflation away from the commodities, like Bitcoin, like Litecoin, like gold, like silver. The system they created is the system they've used for almost 100 years to fund the military-industrial complex, to fund the medical-industrial complex, to fund the DARPA, the secret space program that Cliff High talks about. They use futures and derivatives and taxation and grants. And has anyone ever wondered why the fuck the government researched what ketchup we prefer? because they're learning us. There was a event in 2015 in Texas, Alabama, and one other state. It was a military event that some people may be aware of, some people may not. And it was called Mapping the Human, if you know the last word, help me out. Genome. No. It was mapping the human, basically the reaction that humans have to if there was an event. And they did have to do martial law. What would it look like? What would they need to do? And they found out that there's nothing they could do. That it would lead to a revolution that would destroy the government so quick their fucking heads would spin. As soon as they realized that, they scrapped that fucking plan. Now the plan is to transition, and this comes from people in Washington that I've talked to, advocates of cryptocurrencies in Washington, that there is an agenda to transition from a fiat currency into a cryptocurrency-ish into full cryptocurrencies. How long do I got?
You're done.
Okay, I'm done. There's not going to be a crash. We're in the crash. We're just falling. It's a long fall.
Okay, give him a round of applause, Bitcoin Ben. Bitcoin Ben! He is my absolute friend, and whatever happens today, if we're brawling on the ground, we're still best of friends. One thing that sticks out, and it should stick out to everybody, is that the non-crash means no solution. The solution of transitioning to a crypto world leaves the old world where? We're all in that old world now. What happens to the derivative market? $2 quadrillion. I'm not putting words in your mouth, but Ben's take has been on his YouTube, we're going to tokenize it to transition slowly over time and things like that. Doesn't solve the problem. We have to solve this problem. We cannot give it to our kids. We're the first generation to understand the problem. My parents still don't know anything about this stuff. But people who watch YouTube understand this system a hell of a lot better than a lot of bankers do. And I was in banking for 25-30 years. I don't look so old, but I'm kind of old. They don't know shit. It is the people above them, and the people above them know what's going on. They just don't have a solution. Nobody ever has a solution. So we're going to kick it. If we do what Ben says, and the crypto guys who are so in charge up there, we're going to have a smooth transition. Our kids, their kids, their kids, their kids, 100 years down the line. And what's going to happen? The derivative bubble is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Oh, this is too chaotic to end this way. We've heard it since 1913. It is too chaotic to get rid of the system. It would hurt too many people. And what happens? It gets more and more painful every year. We can't pass this shit on. It's done. Luckily, in 1999, this crazy central banker named Alan Greenspan decided to what would you call it? He decided to allow derivatives to go untethered to any sense of reality. Deregulated the derivative market him and Robert Rubin, Larry Summers, and Alan Greenspan. Summers and Rubin, I know, are criminals. Greenspan, I think, had a different agenda. He always wanted to go back to a gold standard. He wrote the definitive paper on gold and economic freedom in the 1960s, invented the computer programs to rig the markets, and he knew that we'll always kick that fucking can down the road. Kick it, kick it, kick it. What do? You build a bubble so big that it's impossible to kick. $2 quadrillion in derivatives are what is currently supporting the daily lives of our banking system, and it is falling apart. There is no way out of it. There is no smooth transition. We have to take responsibility so that our kids aren't dealing with 20 quadrillion, 100 quadrillion. We're fucked up right now. Our banking system's fucked up. Everything's fucked up. Do we want to really give something worse to our kids because we're too fucking chicken to deal with it today? We were too afraid to deal with it in 1913. You go decade after decade after decade after decade after decade. It doesn't take much to end the system. What does it take? Raise your hand and say, no bailout. Who agrees there should be no bailout? No bailout means everybody loses everything. You just raised your hand to agree that everybody should lose everything. Checking account, savings account, 401k, retirement accounts. Not if you hodl your own assets in your own possession, but that's just us. What's everybody else going to do? Are they going to say, yeah, let's bail it out? Screw our kids. Televise the revolution. That's my argument. It is way too big at this point to bail out and to have a smooth transition. It is just way too big, and it doesn't solve the problem. A smooth transition does not solve the problem. The problem just gets bigger the longer it waits. Case in point, Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan, first quarter this year added $11 trillion to their derivative book to make them the largest derivative bank in the world. 11 trillion in one quarter. This is not about smooth transition. It's about destruction of the old system and building something new. Thank you.
Yay, let's give him a round of applause. After my rant video, I called Bix, and I said, motherfucker, we're going to Washington. And Bix is like...
Bitcoin Bing goes to Washington.
Yeah. And he's like, I've done that. You know, I went there. And
That was for silver. The GATA folks went to Washington.
Who's going to say no?
I'll go.
Oh, you'll go then. Because that is what it's going to take for what he just said to happen. In order to have a crash, we'll have to bring down Washington. And not just Washington, New York, London, Perth, Mint. We have all these entities that we'd have to physically knock on their door. If you want to crash, Bix, I'm with you, brother. Let's crash this motherfucker. But it's gonna mean, and this is not a sexist remark, you're gonna kiss your wife and go, I love you. Me and Bitcoin Ben and Bix Weir are going to Washington. And that is what would be required for a crash. To say no, because politicians won't. They will never have they'll never have a vote that destroys their system. Won't happen, will not. You know what will? If there's 1 million motherfuckers outside the door that don't give a fuck about their vote, that's the crash. I'm ready to go, Bix.
That didn't sound like a smooth transition there, Ben.
That's,
Are you conceding defeat?
the smooth transition is the evolution of what we're doing now, why we're here. We are the quote-unquote smooth transition. It's the education of more people that collect into a room like this that educate more people. That's the smooth transition. The smooth transition is not pretty. It's not nice. You can't sit at home. You can't retweet it. You can't fucking get on YouTube and go, rah, 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 I'm pissed. They don't give a fuck. The smooth transition is going to be the education of the population of slaves to let them know they're slaves. We have the technology. Pretty soon we'll have the channel that's going to educate the masses, and we're going to wake these motherfuckers up. And as we do, it will get better. It will get worse, then it will get better, like every other day of our lives. We've had great days and we've had bad days. And we'll have a lot more of both of them. But at the end of your life, when you're laying in wherever, you're going to look back and go, what a fight. What a fight.
Beautifully said, Ben.
I could
agree.
sing it if you want me to.
Is my last turn for rebuttal, because you've gone twice, I've gone once. And I agree to a point with Ben, and it's not like this is the first time we've talked about this. I don't think that with today's, the fighting between the two parties, the president, the economic system, what we went through in 2008 was an amazing learning, teaching lesson. You walk down the street today and ask someone, are you in favor of a bank bailout if they ask for $20 trillion this time? How many people you think will raise their hand, oh yeah, we have to do it? Nobody's going to do it. So Congress isn't going to be able to bail the banks out this time. That's why they're not going to Congress right now. That's why they're slyly giving money out the back door. You know what the funny thing is about that? If you follow the road to Roota, the Fed wants the system to crash. That's what the road to Roota is all about. It's a Fed comic book talking about the crashing of the old system and the moving on to a gold standard. Because this comic was done before cryptos. And now we have cryptos. So the plan is not a smooth transition. The plan is to say no. That's how easy. You don't have to go to Washington. You don't have to knock on any doors. All you got to do is say no.
Who?
Congress. That's the amazing thing. Now listen,
Do you
before...
want to rely on
Wait, I
Congress?
get my 2 minutes. I do not think Congress, if they have no choice, if they have a choice, yes, I think they would bail people out. Bail out everybody. The way the citizens are, having lived through 2008, we will not allow it. We will not allow a bailout. Nobody in this room, walking down the street, would agree to a bailout. They better figure out some kind of secret bailout, but that's the funny thing. They print quadrillions of dollars behind the scenes and don't tell us about it. Listen to Catherine Austin Fitts. She's already found $30 trillion of debt that was never declared by the United States. $30 trillion. And that's nothing. The question I have, why are they telling us now? If they could hide this shit, why are they telling us now? Because they want the system to implode. They know it's unsustainable. It's the only way out is to destroy the old system and start fresh with something new. Voila, the biggest problem for humanity is gone, which is what? Debt. All debt will be gone. Yeah, a hell of a lot of assets will be gone as well, but the debt will be gone. And that's the plan in the Road to Roota comics. That's what they're saying. I extrapolated a lot of it. But if you follow the Road to Roota stuff, they're saying it. The Fed is telling you what's going to happen. They just can't tell you when. And I think it's coming faster than most of us know. And we will have a decision to make. It is we the people's choice to live like this or to live in freedom. And I think there's a way forward after the crash. And that's the key. The crash has to happen. We can delay it for another 100 years if you want. You want a smooth transition? Jamie Dimon's going to rack up the derivatives like you wouldn't believe in that smooth transition to make it worse and worse and worse and worse every day. So let's just pull the plug and move on. Thank you. We have 4 minutes remaining. 4:28, 4:27.
All right, we get two. We're in the transition. And this is the last thing I'm going to say. 2,000 plus years ago, there was a child born that revolutionized the world. But it didn't happen overnight. The message had to resonate to the people. He knew he wasn't going to change the world in a crash, but he knew that the truth would. And as long as there's people preaching truth, the revolution continues. There'll always be a crash. That's a very relative word. You can have a fender bender and call it a crash. You can have a truck, an 18-wheeler, run into another 18-wheeler, and that's a crash. It's a relative word. As long as there's a tomorrow, there's never an end. So we will progress. We will have good days. We'll have bad days. We'll have days that you could even call a crash. But if Jesus Christ up on a cross couldn't change the world in one day, I sure in the fuck know we can't. Just keep doing what's right. Like my grandfather used to say, as long as you do right, you're not wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the debate, Bitcoin Man. Absolutely winner. I love this man. And you people are amazing as well. You can feel it in the room. Talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends, talk to people you just meet. We're all on the same page here on the Road to Roota party night.